Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for Arrow Season 2, Episode 21, City of Blood. And oh my god, this was another fantastic episode, guys. I was really looking forward to this episode, obviously because of, Hello, the amazing episode last week. You know, Moira got killed off last week. It was really, really amazing. Even though it was really sad, it still was a fantastic episode, and definitely the best of the season. Was this episode as good as that episode? No. However, it definitely was still a fantastic episode. It was so amazing, and I love where they're going with this show. I love it, personally. And I love that this is kind of a three-part thing, because the way this episode ends, you can tell there's another part to it. It kind of just ends on, it kind of just ends. But let's just get to it. So the episode opens up on Moira's funeral. Thea's silent. The rest of the cast is mourning, except Oliver, who is absent at this point. They don't know where Oliver is or what he's doing, but he's not there. So Sebastin takes the oath of the office of the mayor, and at the reception, after the funeral, Blood arrives to give Thea his condolences and asks to see Oliver. She tells him that Oliver has been missing for days and leaves. Sebastin talks a bit to Laurel about the pain of losing a parent. By the time he leaves, clearly she's getting a little bit suspicious about this because, Sebastin's just being very suspicious about it. So elsewhere, Diggle and Felicity are talking about where Oliver might be. They have no idea where he went to or anything. They're trying to find out, where he went. And there's some really amazing scenes when we find out where Oliver went. There are some really amazing scenes after that, which I will get to. But basically, at this point, they don't know where he is. And they're interrupted by Isabel, who tells them that if Oliver is smart, he went back to the island to hide, but maybe he'll be back there for funerals. So in his office, Walter is looking at a photo of the family that he always liked. Thea tells him that Moira never liked it. He tells her their mother loved her very much. She tells him that the whole thing only happened. By the way, Felicity was even crying in that one scene. She hated Moira. She says, I never liked Moira, and I'm crying. So it really shows a lot of people were affected by Moira's death. But Thea, she's having a very hard time. She tells him that the whole thing only happened because Oliver hid the truth about Slade being a dangerous person. She blames him for not relating whatever happened on the island. Walter, stunned, tells Thea that Oliver loves her very much. She leaves, telling him to keep the photo. So, Laurel skipped the reception to return to the police department and work on Oliver. And, basically, work on finding Slade. And Laurel approaches him to relate her suspicions about, Sebastin, telling him that last time she was a drunk, but this time he needs him to trust her. And you know what? I really love the personality switch in Laurel in this episode. Laurel is she gives all the right advice to people in this episode. Laurel was just completely turned around this episode, and I love that about Laurel's character in this episode. I thought that was fantastic. So, in Blood's office, he takes a call from Slade, just checking in and telling Sebastin to get to work. And by the way, the episode was called City of Blood because it focused too much on Sebastin, but Diggle and Felicity can't find any sign of either Oliver or Sarah. They don't know that Sarah left town. They're running out of the pit Viper venom to keep Roy sedated and running out of places to look for their missing friends. Roy, at this point, by the way, he is not even in the episode. He's mentioned, but he's not in it. But Felicity is starting to feel like they've got nowhere left to turn. Diggle says he knows who to ask, and cut to Argus, where they come to see Amanda Waller, telling her that they need to find Oliver for the sake of the city. Amanda is confrontational, but when Diggle tells her about the Miracle army, she agrees to look for him. So Isabel arrives to see Thea with a notice that she has to vacate the premises because Queen Consolidated is exercising its ownership of the building, including the foundry beneath it, and she only has a couple of days. So Laurel comes to ask Blood for help with a case. It's a fair housing case. Blood is happy to help her. He remembers cases like this from his time as a community organizer, and she remembers them from CNRI. She leaves a file with him while she's there. Bugs Blood's office with a remote Wi-Fi device that lets him into his computer. In the course of things, they find a press release that proves Sebastin knew that Moira was going to be killed the day before, it happens. And again, Laurel is on to Sebastin at this point. She's on to him. She pretty much figures that he's working with Slade and that he knew all this. Basically, that's what she's thinking. And at Argus, they finally find Oliver, and it turns out he's actually at a second Larry keeps, one that's different from the foundry. So, that was really big when they found him. So Diggle and Felicity enter Oliver's secondary lair. They ask how they found him, where he asks how they found him, and they tell him they tell him that Amanda found him. And they ask what the place is, and he explains that it started as a secondary base in case the Foundry was compromised, but became some place he could go to basically be alone. Basically just a place where he could be by himself, he could be alone, he could talk to, just try to get over everything. And he's blaming himself for Moira's death, which I was predicting that he would do. And, he reminds them that he could have cured Slade 5 years ago, but because he didn't, everyone is in danger. He plans to surrender himself to Slade to end it. He thinks that he's the one more person Slade wants to kill, because, remember, Slade said that one more person has to die, and he wants him to be that, he wants to be that one more person. So Felicity delivers a speech about destiny, trying to convince him not to turn himself in, but he says the essence of heroism is to die so others can live. So he says that's all that's left for him to die. Since Slade has taken everything from him, Felicity tells him there has to be another way, but he tells her there isn't, and he leaves. The only thing that he hasn't done is killed Thea, which I don't think he's going to do, but really just the death of Moira has really affected Oliver, and I was really happy with how much it affected Oliver and everything. I thought that was definitely really, really well done, the way they did that. So then what happens is, basically what happens is, Oliver then, Amanda's still trying to talk Thea down. She tells him that she's a jobless and homeless orphan, that there's nothing left for her. She wants her to start over somewhere, start over somewhere else. And before anything else can happen, Oliver enters and is trying to talk, and basically, he asks what's going on. Thea says she's leaving the city, and Oliver asks to speak with her alone. She asks him not to try to convince her to stay. He tells her that she should get as far away as possible, that she's a good person, and he can't have her lose that. He hugs her and tells her that he knows he's not always been there for her, but he's always loved her. She tells him that she'll get in touch when she gets settled. So basically, he's telling her, you have to go away, if that's how you need to grieve over Mom, then do that. And I actually think that's really great advice that Oliver said that. I honestly thought he was going to be like, no, don't go, you can't leave, you don't understand what you're doing. But no, he was actually like, go away, if you need to go away, and I understand if you have to leave, because, he's going through even more pain than Thea's going through. So, as she leaves, Oliver then calls Slade, telling that he's coming to the pier alone, and that ends tonight. So Oliver is explaining to an unseen audience that he should have died on the Gambit, that the pier is where it's all started. He says that no one else is going to die because of him, and is struck by a dart. And when he comes to it, he's actually in the Foundry where Diggle and Felicity are saying over him, and then Laurel enters. So that was definitely a really intense scene when he just, passed out. And she tells Oliver that Slade told her, and this was probably my favorite scene, probably my favorite scene in the episode, because I love the change in Laurel in this episode. Kate Cassidy's performance, I think that's her name, Kate Cassidy. This is by far her best performance. It was in this scene. I love this scene between Oliver and Laurel. I love the way it played out, and this was by far my favorite scene in the episode, because she really was motivating him. And she's telling Oliver that Slade told her who he was, and that when he went missing, now she knows that he's the Arrow, because Slade, she finally tells Oliver that I know you're the Arrow, and she tells him the truth. So, basically she says that when he went missing, she reached out to Diggle and Felicity, who told her that what he was doing, and she asked for a moment and asked him why he never told her. She's figured out that Tommy knew, and that Oliver was with him at the end. Oliver tells her that Tommy's last words were about her, and that he wanted to know she was safe. Oliver's sorry that he couldn't save him and his mother, but that he can save Laurel and Thea and the city if he lets Slade kill him. And basically, he's basically saying, I'm fine with just Slade killing me. So basically, Laurel takes it as he wants to kill himself. And Laurel just starts panicking, telling him, you can't just let him kill you. That losing Oliver so soon after her mother would destroy Thea, and it's going to destroy Thea even more than she already is destroyed. And she says, tell Oliver that she knows who he is deep down, and that person does not give up, and that he always finds a way. She tells him that the only way to protect the people he loves is by stopping Slade, and by stopping Sebastin, because he's working with Slade. Oliver's resolve is strengthened when she tells him that Slade killed Moira so that Blood could be mayor. He susses out that Blood is the one in the skull mask, and that Laurel was right all along. And I just thought that was a great scene. I love that scene between Laurel and Oliver. Oh my god, as I said, that was the best scene in the episode, because I love the change in Laurel. Laurel was so annoying in the beginning of the season, and now she's a completely different character, and I love that personally. I love that they've changed her character, And I just loved how motivating she was to Oliver in that scene. So Sebastian's out at a fancy restaurant, asking his bodyguard to stay outside because nothing's going to happen to me here, he thinks. And when he gets to his table, Oliver's waiting, and as the bodyguard is getting on the elevator, Diggle joins him. Cut to a bodyguard tied to a chair in Oliver's secondary lair. Clinton Hogue, I think his name is, Hugh, something like that. And he basically says he isn't afraid of taking a beating, but Diggle says that the interrogator will be Felicity. She begins employing Hugh's offshore accounts. He relents once she once she reaches his parents' retirement accounts. And back at the restaurant, Oliver and Sebastian are talking about Blood's mayorship. Sebastian thinks he can make a city a better place, but Oliver tells him that Slade will never let that happen. Sebastian rolls over immediately, asking how Oliver knows. And, Oliver then tells him straight out, I'm the Arrow. And I'm just like, yes, he told him. So basically, Oliver's telling everyone at this point. And I have a feeling by the end of this season, everyone is going to know that Oliver is the Arrow. Because he basically just told Sebastian. Laurel knows. And I think Thea knows. So pretty much everybody knows at this point. Everybody knows he's the Arrow. And I think that's really great. Now everyone knows, pretty much. Is there anyone who doesn't know? I'm trying to think. I feel like there is someone, but I can't think of it right now. Sebastian still believes so that he can make the city a better place with the Mirakuru army supposedly doing just enough damage to scare the city into following him into a brighter tomorrow. When Oliver tries to tell him that Slade will not keep his word, basically he's telling him, hey, Slade is messing with you. Slade is just trying to blackmail you into destroying the city. And, he says that Sebastian's a pawn in a much larger game and that Sebastian doesn't believe him and he leaves and tells him that it's a new tomorrow in Starling City and there's nothing he can do to stop it. So Thea's leaving the mansion, her phone rings, and it's Walter. She rejects the call and then walks out. So back at the Foundry, Team Arrow has a plan. Slade's army plans are to take the city tonight, and it's bigger than they thought. Oliver and Diggle then head through the sewers to implement their strategy, and Laurel insists on coming along. She wants to be his eyes and ears. She kind of wants to help him out. And Oliver tells her, no. He just says, no, you're not helping me. I got this. I think he just wants to protect Laurel at this point. He basically is like, this is bigger than all of us, and you can't help me. And he tells her that Team Arrow used to be just those three, and it's time they got back to that. The three of them used to be him, Felicity, and Diggle, and that's who it is now. So it's just the three of them. And Oliver is walking out around in shadows. Elsewhere, Blood puts on his brother Blood mask to address the Mirakuru army, and it got amazing here. I love this last scene here. I thought this was awesome. Basically, he's delivering a rousing speech. Oliver has his eyes on the army. Diggle is on the street above where he's about to blow a block's worth of concrete on top of them. He kills the whole group, but before he can make an escape, though, Oliver is spotted by one of the Mirakuru-powered guards. And the two fight in the hallway while Sebastian rallies the troops, and the guard gets the better of Oliver, but is distracted from behind by Laurel. When he turns to kill her, Oliver hits him with an explosive arrow, and then Diggle is about to blow the street when he's attacked by Isabel, dressed as Ravager, and telling him that she plans to kill him for killing her. And at the police department is Iron Heights escapee, who had been brought into custody, breaks out of his handcuffs, puts on a Deathstroke mask, and goes after Laurel. And at the train station, police and guards around Thea are taken out by two more Mirakuru soldiers in Deathstroke masks. In the van, Felicity gets a call from Cisco Ramon, and Oliver and Laurel are cornered in the sewer, but Oliver blows one of the charges above, blocking the Mirakuru army from them. And then in the current day, Slade's Mirakuru army are making their way through the city streets, and they're pretty much going to destroy the city. So that's Slade's plan, and it's kind of starting to work, and I feel like, I definitely think that it's not going to work. What I really like is that, as I said, this is kind of a three-part thing. They said that the last three episodes are like a three-part thing, and there's going to be a huge fight between Slade and Oliver, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Let's get to the island, though, because the island was really, really important this week, because, again, it all has to do with Oliver trying to kill Slade and how he could have killed Slade, and it's leading up to seeing why he didn't do it. So we see that Oliver, Sarah, and Knavezev, I don't know how to pronounce his name, they board the Japanese sub, and Oliver asks if Anatoly can fix it. He doubts it, but when Oliver tells him it's their only chance to kill Slade and escape the island, he agrees to try. He wants to try at least to get them off the island. So, then what happens is, Anatoly seems to be having luck getting the submarine running, but they're still stuck aground. The only way out is to blast 3 by using the torpedoes, which are manually operated. And in order to free the sub, someone would have to sacrifice themselves. And, of course, the person that, volunteers to do that, he decides to, Oliver wants Sarah to get clear out of the blast radius for the torpedo in case it doesn't work. And the sub goes down, and he tells her to get off the sub, and they will come for her when it's over. And he tells Peter that what he's doing is brave, and I knew that, when he said that someone's going to sacrifice himself, it was going to be Oliver. Because we saw that in this episode. And Peter says it's no braver than coming back to the boat to save the prisoners. Oliver says he only went because he wanted to get home and he's not a hero. Peter says maybe not yet and shakes his hand. They fire their torpedo, jarring the sub. And it just, what's really cool about this scene is comparing it to, like, a scene from, in the episode where he's like, I want to be a hero, I want to kill myself. It's so different with the Olivers, and I love that when we get to the flashbacks. I used to not like the flashbacks, but now I just love the comparisons that we have. And the final flashback is that we see that that submarine is freed, but the other hand, the radio, Sarah has been taken. So I'm thinking this is when they thought she was dead. That's what I'm thinking that this is. That's when they thought she was dead. But, this episode, again, was amazing. It really is getting great. And one of the things I loved, again, was the change in Laurel in this episode. The way that Laurel tried to help Oliver. The way that Laurel kind of took control of Oliver. And basically tried to tell him, what are you doing? You're not doing the right thing. This is only going to hurt Thea. I just thought that was amazing in this episode. That was one of my favorite parts. Will Oliver be able to take down the Mirror Crew army? I personally don't know. I am wondering if this is going to... I'm thinking he will kill Slade, but about the Mirror Crew army, I don't know if he's going to be able to take them all down, because Laura was trying to take them down, she's like, there's too many of them, you gotta help me, and in the next episode, looks like they're in some real deep shit, and there's only 2 episodes left of the season, so shit's going down now, it's getting really intense, I love that about the show, I think it's going to be really, really great. Also, is Thea going to be... Where is Thea going to go from here? We don't really know. I'm looking forward to seeing where she's going to go. Oliver. As far as Oliver goes, what's going to happen with Oliver and Slade? Will Slade actually... will Oliver actually kill Slade? Will he, tell Slade, I'm sorry for what he's done? Will they not be, seen with Slade? Or I heard really another interesting theory from Emergency Awesome, where he said maybe he should just stab Slade with the, put an arrow through Slade's other eye so he's completely blind. I think that'd be kind of cool. Although then he'd basically be the governor, sort of. Yeah, he'd kind of be the governor if that were to happen. Which Slade kind of is the governor, but if he had another eye gone, he'd be like the governor if he was blind. Yeah, overall, this episode was amazing. I loved everything about it, and I thought there were some great scenes. Really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the next episode. Really, really loving Arrow. I think this was a fantastic episode. Definitely one of the best episodes of the season. Not as good as last week, but still amazing, and still just, oh my god, so good. That's it. And by the way, Arrow is becoming one of my top 5 favorite shows. I just can't wait to watch every single week, and it's just so good every single week. That's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for The 100 and The Americans. So, see you then. Bye.